What is the most expensive concert you've ever been to? I think for me, it was probably a few years ago when I went and saw the Jonas Brothers with my wife, Haley. You know how it is, the old ball and chain. I didn't even want to go. The Jonas Brothers aren't even that cute or anything. Anyways, live music is getting really expensive. I think we only paid like $70 or $80 a piece for those Jonas Brothers tickets, but take a look at the average resale price for Taylor Swift tickets this year. Wait, sorry, actually, that's not right. There we go. There we go. Yeah, live music has gotten so expensive that some tickets literally cost more than a brand new MacBook Pro. Going to concerts is quickly becoming a luxury, so shouldn't it feel like a luxury? Shouldn't it feel better than this? A couple weeks ago, Cardi B was performing in Las Vegas, a famously hot place, and at some point she started telling her fans to throw water on her.
Throw me some water again, bitch, 'cause I'm hot.
Then someone in the audience looked at the cup of ice in their hands, realized that technically ice is water, and decided to throw that at her instead. Cardi B then took it upon herself to respond with the equal and proportionate response of chucking a whole ass microphone at them with impressive accuracy, might I add. You can definitely tell this wasn't her first time throwing a mic at somebody. Shit, it wasn't even the first time she did it that week. There have been a lot of incidents like this popping up in the news lately with fans throwing things on stage, and it's tricky because you can never be 100% sure what the fans' intentions were. Like with the Cardi B thing, maybe they genuinely forgot that there was ice in there, or maybe they thought it melted. There was another situation a couple months ago where BB Rexa got pelted in the face by somebody's cell phone. Now you might be asking yourself, what good reason does somebody have to throw a phone at someone else's face? Well, if you ask the guy's lawyer, it was a total accident. He wasn't trying to hurt her or anything. He was just trying to get her to take some pictures on his phone and throw it back to him. But if you ask the guy who did it, he said he did it because it was funny. So some people have theorized that fans are pulling stunts like this to go viral, which makes sense. I mean, it worked for these guys. Other people have theorized that there's been a recent uptick in incidents like this because of the pandemic. You know, they think that after being cooped up at home for so long, people just forgot how to act in public. Like when a fan at a Pink concert threw a bag of their mother's ashes on stage.
This is your mom?
But I don't really know if that's the pandemic's fault. I mean, people have been throwing weird shit at performers since way before the pandemic. Like in 2015, when someone absolutely spanked Harry Styles in the face with what appeared to be a full, unopened can of Red Bull. They were like, yo, this dude looks fucking sleepy. I know, man. It's like, where's the energy tonight, Harry? Dude needs one of those, am I right? You're right. I should throw something at his face. So I don't think the pandemic is totally to blame for all this. I mean, it certainly didn't make anybody better at socializing, but at the end of the day, I think it all just comes down to people having what I like to call main character syndrome. Like if you're so concerned with you having a good time that you perceive everyone else around you as an NPC background character who doesn't also want to have a good time, you're a robot, dog. You're the NPC. Feel something, damn it. Don't be like the guy who allegedly trampled a woman in a wheelchair to get a better view at a Lizzo concert. Now, Lizzo's under fire for some pretty serious stuff at the moment, but I guarantee you'll think even less of her when I tell you that she then invited that guy on stage. Yes, the guy who had just trampled a woman in a wheelchair with platform heels, mind you, was then invited on stage to sing with Lizzo. Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of touring artists who perform in front of thousands of fans night after night tend to also suffer from main character syndrome. I mean, what else would possess Travis Scott to continue performing at Astroworld 2021 after being explicitly told that people were dying in the crowd? I mean, that was main character syndrome if I've ever seen it. They were like, Travis, we gotta shut the show down. People are dying out here. And he said, but then the other people won't be looking at me anymore. Don't you guys hate it when you let a few of your fans die and people expect you to record a genuine apology video? So it's not just the fans. Some artists are making live music more dangerous too, whether it's by enabling it or just directly contributing to it. But let's not leave out some of the biggest offenders when it comes to the downfall of live music. The event organizers and promoters. If you weren't in a coma in 2017, the first example that comes to mind is probably Fyre Festival. But if you've forgotten, or if you actually were in a coma in 2017, sorry. Fyre Festival is advertised as this luxury music festival on a beautiful tropical island. They paid a ton of huge Instagram influencers to promote the festival, sometimes not disclosing that it was an ad, and they ended up selling about 5,000 tickets. But when people showed up, it was an absolute goddamn nightmare. Some people paid $12,000 for these quote-unquote modern, eco-friendly geodesic domes. They were disaster relief tents with dirt floors. The gourmet meals, hand-cooked by celebrity chefs, were just sandwiches, cheese sandwiches. They didn't have enough tents, running water, toilets. Every single artist that was supposed to perform ended up backing out, probably because running water was in their contract. So it wasn't even a music festival. They couldn't even get that part right. When all was said and done, they ended up just canceling it, and eventually they got everybody home. But don't get your hopes down, everybody. One of the founders recently confirmed that Fire Festival 2 is happening, and this time it's actually happening, now that he's out of prison for doing the first one. Firefest was a pathetic excuse for a music festival, if you can even call it that. But hey, at least nobody died, which can't be said about the most infamous music festival of all time, Woodstock 99. Woodstock 99 was a literal shit show. I don't think I need to explain to you what that means. People have been throwing weird shit at performers since way before the pandemic. One of the founders, Michael Lang, actually helped organize the original Woodstock in 1969. Lang wanted to do this awesome 30th anniversary festival that recaptured the magic that made the original Woodstock so iconic. Unfortunately, Lang apparently had nothing to do with what made the original Woodstock any good, because this guy was just wildly incompetent. They hosted the festival on an Air Force base, so just imagine a giant slab of concrete for miles with no shade in July in New York. These people were cooking. Due to some budget cuts, the festival hired their vendors through a subcontractor that gave the vendors complete control over the price of food and water. Adjusted for inflation, a bottle of water cost over $7 at the beginning of the festival. By the end, they cost $22. People got so fed up with this that they started breaking the pipes on the water fountains, which created these giant mud pits. So people started jumping into these mud pits to cool off, but due to the severe shortage of toilets, the porta potties on site had started overflowing and contaminating the mud pits. Oh my God. Over 400,000 people showed up for this festival, and there was no real security team. What they did have was the quote-unquote Peace Patrol. Almost all of the Peace Patrol officers were kids with no experience. Many of them either didn't do their jobs, took bribes, or used their authority to rob and abuse people. This pathetic lack of security also allowed some pretty disgusting people to get away with exploiting women, and Michael Lang never really took any responsibility for Woodstock 99, which is a shame because now he's dead, and I'll never get to tell him to his face that I think he's a coward and that he sucks. But do you want me to really blow your mind? While I was researching this video, I started to realize that not even the original Woodstock was all it's cracked up to be. That's right, Woodstock 1969, the gold standard of live music, one of the most defining moments in the history of modern music, was also kind of a dumpster fire. The people who organized it, which, as a reminder, includes our boy Michael Lang, weren't able to finish building the fences or ticket booths in time. So this event that was designed for 200,000 people was overrun by a horde of over 400,000 people. They ran out of food and water so fast that they literally had to call in the army to drop off care packages. Thank God they didn't have an exclusive deal with some shitty vendors who charged $20 for a bottle of water. Right, Michael? By the time all was said and done, the original Woodstock was home to 2 deaths and over 5,000 medical incidents. If you ask me, live music isn't necessarily getting any more dangerous than it always has been. At the end of the day, none of these incidents are the first of their kind, and live music has basically been a shit show from day one. The problem is people. When you put thousands of fans in a crowd, some of them get this false sense of anonymity and think they can do whatever they want. And when artists put their ego above the safety of their fans, people get hurt. And when event organizers don't put in the effort to effectively manage the crowd, sometimes people die. Believe it or not, it doesn't have to be that way. Billboard did an interview with a crowd psychologist named John Drury, and he has some solutions for us. When talking about Woodstock 99, he said that fans are more likely to act out like this when they feel like the event itself is working against them. He basically argues that the events, the organizers, the venues themselves essentially need to constantly remind the crowd to be nice to each other. I'm not kidding, it's that simple. In the interview, Drury points out that fans don't usually act out like this at events with smaller, more intimate crowds where everyone's there for the same reason. So basically at these bigger events where you inevitably get a bunch of people who probably haven't even listened to the artist before, you have to remind those people that everyone else is just here to have a good time. So please don't be an asshole. Specifically, Drury recommends that venues start posting the rules in large letters near the stage. Don't don't use those small letters. I expect every comment on this video to be in all caps for safety reasons. He also suggests that they play public service announcements between sets, reminding everyone that if they fuck around, they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out that they got arrested and the show got canceled. So the next time you're at a concert, whether you're a fan, an organizer, or even the artist themselves, all I ask is that you just think about other people before you do things. Put yourself in their shoes. Try on their actual shoes if it helps. Just ask them first. And I know when you're 3-4 beers deep, sometimes everyone else starts to feel like an NPC or a background character, but life isn't a video game. And if it were, it would be one of those games where your decisions matter. Where if you press the wrong button in a dialogue tree, you accidentally burn down a village or something. Speaking of live music, I just got back from going on tour with Ryan Celsius. It was awesome. Nobody threw anything at me. I documented the whole experience over on my music channel, so you can go click here if you want to go check that out. If you want to support the channel, it would mean the world to me if you went and subscribed to the Patreon. If you want to stay in touch, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Discord. Other than that, that's about it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.